Hello and welcome to another Cutie Art Crusaders Spoilercast, this time for Season 5, Episode 15, Rarity Investigates. Today we have myself, Rainbow Plasma, and I am also joined by Joel, aka Atmospark.
That's me.
And Danny, otherwise known as Silver.
That's me.
Is also joining us. So, thank you guys for joining me, because otherwise I'd be sitting here by myself because Bernd and Ted both couldn't make it here today.
What happened to Bernd? I thought he was going to do it.
No, remember he said... I think Bernd's in the same position as me, which is we both have a lot of schoolwork right now. And I think he's the kind of person who, if he has a distraction, then it just like...
It doesn't get
all
done.
Goes to hell, you know? Yeah. So I, good on him. I think he's just taking some time out to like really focus on that, so...
Fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, we had an episode this week. I almost forgot about it again because I'm not used to having ponies come back on, so I almost missed the live stream until someone texted me and they were like, I can't wait for ponies, and it was like 5 minutes left and I jumped out of bed. It's weird having it back.
That's right, we have to watch it on Sunday morning anyway.
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't remember it until I was just like laying in bed not wanting to wake up yet, so I was like laying in bed on my phone, and he comes in the bedroom. He's like, ponies! And I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing that happens.
That's a thing that still exists, yeah. Yeah. It's times like these that remind me that once Pony is done, it won't be the end of the world. Although I think we do take for granted the fact that there are new episodes still coming out right now. Because some of them are really, really, really good. Like, for example, this episode.
It's a good time to be a Rarity fan.
Yeah, evidently. We've gotten 2 Rarity episodes back to back, and just to give a quick summary to refresh people's memories in case they've forgotten what the episode was about. This episode was about Rarity and Rainbow Dash, specifically Rainbow Dash participating in a Wonderbolt's flying event as a reserve when Spitfire gets called away, so Rainbow Dash will come in and replace it. But then it's found out that that letter was actually a lie, and people accuse Rainbow Dash of sending Spitfire away so that she could participate. So Rarity starts a big noir investigation to go off and clear Rainbow Dash's name, and yeah, it was quite the adventure.
Can I just say that we picked up on who actually did it straight away?
Yeah, we definitely did.
I don't think this was supposed to be like a huge, crazy mystery.
I mean, they
right?
did do a pretty good job of that, because people who didn't sort of pick it up straight away would have... Like, I could see how someone would be like, oh, so it was this person. No, it was this person. No, it was... What? Hang on, what? They wouldn't do that. It must have been this person. They did a pretty good job at that.
Yeah.
There was a pretty big giveaway at the beginning. So, usually in these things, in these mysteries, when it's very, very obvious who might have done it, it's never that person, right? So when they started out and everybody immediately started accusing Rainbow Dash, I was like, oh, that's good, because then there's no way that it could have been her, right? Like, no one would write that story where it's just like, yep, it totally was her.
I thought...
So that's nice.
I thought there was the chance that there was the weird sleepwalking thing, that she may have facilitated it on accident. I thought that was a chance. Like a slim chance, but
so
a chance.
Far-fetched, though.
No, yeah, I thought there was a slim chance that maybe she accidentally facilitated it, like she did something in her sleep that helped whoever did it do it.
I mean, it wouldn't be too out of character for her.
Yeah, I thought that would be kind of, like, because I thought they dropped all that sleeping stuff and her being doubtful on purpose. Like, she thought, oh man, I got up to go to the bathroom, maybe something bad happened.
Right,
But-
right.
But only Pinky goes to the bathroom.
Yeah, it was, to me, I could have seen in another world someone writing this episode more focused on Rainbow Dash and teaching her not to like scheme and connive to get what she wants. You know what I mean? Like, that could have been the lesson, but the episode would have been completely different. And what I liked was when they started this whole like, accusation thing. As soon as they did that, I knew that this wasn't going to be that type of episode, which immediately was like, okay, cool. We're not gonna go through the Rainbow Dash sucks episode again. That's great. So yeah, it really, like, I had no idea what to expect walking into it, and once they started going into the detective work about halfway through, it was fantastic. I loved it.
So, Rarity and Rainbow Dash are a thing now, right?
They've had a couple of episodes where they're like, they have really, really good interactions like between the two of them, and I'm quite happy about that. I've always enjoyed exploring some of the like less like the non-obvious friendships within the group, and this is one of them, right? Like, yeah, you got Applejack and Rarity or whatever, but like that episode's been done a billion times, right? The rarer ones are the friendships that we don't see too often, something like Twilight and Fluttershy or Rarity and Rainbow Dash, and it's cool to see that. And they are, you can tell that they are individually friends outside of just the group of 6, right? They both seem to mesh and enjoy each other's company.
Well, she did smear sunscreen all over her face.
That was so adorable, wasn't it?
And there were a fair few looks, I'll just leave it at that, from Rarity.
I can tell your shipping vibes are apparently going off the charts, but I liked their friendship. So. There were some interesting points in this episode that I was kind of like not expecting, where they took things to kind of like, they really, once they decided to go film noir, they just went kind of crazy with this episode. I noticed that the facial expressions in general, like, obviously I don't know who storyboarded this episode, and I should go look that up while I'm talking, but there seemed to be a lot of like interesting and unique facial expressions that I haven't really seen before. Like the way that they're manipulating the faces was a bit different in it. Like, for example, when Rarity pulls out that couch, right, in the film noir scene, and Rainbow Dash turns around, she makes this face that's just like, what? and I haven't seen someone make that kind of face before.
This season's good for that. There's a lot of really, really interesting faces. Like in this whole season, they're like playing with the puppets more. Maybe they have a higher budget or something now to do the animations. Yeah. Like, and even the face when Rarity is sitting on the couch too. Yeah.
The face that she makes it's like I've seen these before, but they're very underused. So they're definitely getting their money's worth out of that.
And there's more unique models too. Like Spitfire's mom is a more unique model. Like she's slightly different. I think she kind of looks like Mrs. Harshwinny, actually.
Yeah,
like,
slightly with the.
Yeah.
But they have more odd models now than they ever have before. Like there were at least 2 in this episode.
And they've reused the Fleur model.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they've also got I can't remember. Is it Windrunner or Wind? Yeah, it's
Wind Rider. Like Flynn Rider. Yeah. That's the pun.
So Wind Rider. So like his model was fairly unique as well. And so you're right. There is definitely a lot of I guess they've got more time now they've got more expertise to be able to use these alternative ones, and it keeps things fresh.
The noir scenes were done pretty well, where it's all black and then Rarity pulls out the sliver of rainbow hair, and it's the only thing that's color. Yeah,
I like the touch of the what was it, the trumpet player at some point when they're zooming out, who's making the music, the film noir music.
I didn't notice that.
They had someone just playing. They had like a pony just playing a trumpet with like that muffler on the end, which gives that trumpet like that film noir sound. And they physically had a pony just sitting in like a windowsill playing the trumpet.
I didn't notice that at all. Yeah.
So I also wanted to point out that this episode contains Best Pony, so that's cool.
I didn't see Pinky anywhere.
You're so funny. Have I ever told you how funny you
Not
are?
enough.
But yeah, this episode had Soren in it, so I obviously liked that episode immediately.
And
so long as it doesn't portray him as a stupid idiot.
And 2 Wonderbolts that we haven't seen in like 4 seasons.
Yeah, the 2 curly-haired Wonderbolts were only in the first season, and they returned in this one. And the one that's the one that looks like Spitfire but without the second color in her mane. Who got a name? Blaze.
Oh, yeah.
She hasn't showed up since first season either. Yeah, Blaze. And then Misty Fly also got her name in this episode, but she was named in a toy previously. But now they've said it.
Yeah, that totally doesn't count before.
Didn't see Surprise though.
Yeah, there wasn't the white one. I don't know if the white one ever is going to show up again.
Aww.
I think she was filler.
Where did Surprise was the G1 pony, right?
Yeah, she was a Generation 1 pony. She had Pinky's cutie mark and bright like neon yellow hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I really enjoyed this episode overall. I thought the pacing it went a bit quick. When you mentioned the fact that
I mean, a lot happened.
And a lot had to happen. I was noticing near the end there was like 10 or 5 minutes left, and it still felt like they had so much to do. So, I really don't discredit them for having a kind of predictable plot, because they had to do so much. And they managed to sneak in stuff, and even though it felt a little bit rushed, they're still, the ending didn't feel rushed. That was the big thing. The ending felt like it got its due, which in previous seasons everything else felt slow, and at the end they went, oh my gosh, we don't have any time, and then they kind of wrapped up the ending really quick. Whereas in this one it was more like everything was kind of fast paced, and then near the end they kind of slowed it down a bit.
Yeah, that's fair. I thought the pacing was fine. It didn't bother me.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what stood out? What stood out to you guys? Like, what was your favorite bits from this episode?
Broken cutie mark.
The broken cutie mark. You didn't even notice that. At the very closing scene, they're all sitting and watching the Wonderbolts, and one of the background ponies, Raindrops, is sitting in the background because she's sitting kind of with her legs splayed a little, and her cutie mark is on the inside of her thigh, and I pointed that out. And that's the last thing I said before the episode ended, so it's obviously imprinted on our brains.
That's cool. I'll have to look for that.
Yeah. I always notice stuff like that. Like, when I watch the show, I watch the background for what's going on, because I always notice all the weird little references and stuff. And this one was good for that. I like the Canterlot backgrounds. Like, this stage, where the Wonderbolts were racing, was the same one where they raced in Season 2, when Rarity was doing her High Life thing, Oh,
that's cool.
Sweet and Elite.
I see the cutie mark. They obviously used the wrong leg there or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they might have mirrored her legs, like, backwards from each other, so then the one is on the outside and the one on the inside.
Yeah. I personally enjoyed the little quips here and there. For example, Rarity continually accidentally saying her monologues out loud. I thought that was really well done and actually legitimately made me laugh. So that was really funny.
What was it? There was something that I said about halfway through, and I thought that was actually quite funny. I don't remember what it was, though.
I don't either.
I'll have to find it. It was something about halfway through the episode that made me laugh.
Yeah, and they kept going back. They kept going back and forth between the she's doing detective work, and then she's talking about fashion, and then she's doing detective work, and ooh, cake, So, yeah. They also had something really interesting in terms of like characters, because I know, Sylvia, you really like different characters and like researching them. They had a lot of different guards this episode. Yeah. They had those 3 guards, and they were like really non-typical guard colors, right?
I noticed that
like
instantly,
the generic
actually.
guards were like the white and it comes in like 2 versions, like light and dark.
Yeah.
But these ones, like there was one green one, there was an orange one that looked a lot like Flash Sentry, and then there was like a brown one with red hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I did notice that. Like, they're different colors now. I don't know what that means, though. Like, it's like, are they going to start making more guards of different colors, or are they just going to go back to the norm after this? I'm interested to see where that's going to go.
I suspect that the reason why they did that was to differentiate them, to make them actual characters in the story, right? Whereas guards before... Have guards ever been a character in the story before, other than, like, a couple of lines?
No, yeah. Some of Celestia's guards, like, say stuff to her. Like, they're like, hey, Celestia, this thing is happening. Like, especially during the Canterlot wedding episodes. But they've always just been white.
Right, but that's, like, 1 or 2 lines, yeah. Right? Like, they're not an actual character with a personality and, like, a background.
But on that same
Whereas,
note...
like, these ones were.
Like, there's so many characters in the background, and they're all unique, Like, the characters, right. The whole story is filled with characters that are unique, except these guards. It's always been a weird disconnect, because the crowds have always been filled with unique characters.
Yeah. I remember reading a fan fiction about guards once, where, like, the headcanon was basically that when they would put on the helm, the like gear, it would like they would do like some sort of like illusionary magic to make them look all the same. Therefore, you couldn't like pick out one guard over the other, and it was more just like you are a guard, you're not a person. It was an interesting take on things, but obviously this one kind of breaks that a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, they can be persuaded with cake. If I ever want to sneak in there, just give them a cake.
Just give them a cake. That cake did look very good, and it had quite the name. I can't say it, and I'm not even going to try, but it was quite the name.
Yeah, it's something rosettes.
Buttercream rosettes.
Buttercream.
Which is funny, because you can't really make rosettes out of buttercream very easily. The cake maker in me went,
it's a great cake, evidently. It's a fantastic cake. I remember, what was the line like? Rarity talked to the baker, and she said, like, I hear you got the best in town, and she's like, well, you've got a good circle of friends because we've got the only ones in town. It's like, what? But it was a good episode overall. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. There were a lot of moments that made me laugh. I thought the noir stuff was done really, really well. I thought the whole story, while a little bit predictable, was just fun to go along with. And I really enjoyed the character interactions, whether or not it was the Wonderbolts, who actually weren't acting like jerks, yay, or Rarity and Rainbow Dash. There's really, like, I have no complaints about this episode at all. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I liked it. I was happy. Like, every time it's an episode where the Wonderbolts appear, you gotta stop and wonder, are they gonna be really big elitist jerks, or are they gonna be Rainbow Dash's heroes? Because they're about half and half right now.
Right, yeah. And it's funny, because they kind of... Well, I don't know. There was nothing particularly redeeming about them. They were just kind of characters in this one, so I felt like they kind of towed the line here. They weren't great, but they weren't bad. And there's been plenty of episodes where they've just been kind of jerks,
Yeah, I think they suffer as being a plot device for Rainbow Dash rather than being characters of their own sometimes, and that's kind of
right.
It's kind of crappy for them, but
it happens though. Like it kind of has to happen.
It happens to some of the main characters sometimes too, especially poor Pinky. Like she just becomes a plot device of whoever's episode it happens to be.
Yep, absolutely. What about you, Joel? You like the episode?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not usually the biggest Rarity fan, but some wasn't too bad.
Shush.
Well, there you go. I think that's basically everything. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to mention about the episode?
Sassy Saddles was back.
Oh, yeah. We should talk a little bit about the continuity. I thought it's such a rare event when you get back-to-back episode continuity.
So you're saying it's a rarity?
I mean, I said it, and then I was like, don't say it, and you said it. So, thanks. But yes, it was a rarity that this episode had continuity. It was really cool, though. I liked it.
It's good.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, that's everything for this Spoilercast. We will be back next week with next week's episode, which I don't know the name of because I don't look up spoilers. So you'll just
I kind of know a little bit about it. I know what it is. I don't know what it is.
So descriptive. Thank you.
But I'm not going to spoil.
You really do. You have a way with word.
Don't I though?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. And without further ado, my name is Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Atmos Spark.
And I'm Silver Rain Clouds.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.